Japanese authorities are extending the evacuation zone around the stricken Fukushima nuclear power plant in a move that has implications for thousands of residents. It's also a major blow to farmers in the region who are cut off from their properties and livestock. A new partnership with Australia is extending a helping hand to the worst hit areas. 3 Japanese farmers who survived the tsunami are now here, as Hayden Cooper reports.
On the windswept plains of the New South Wales southern tablelands, farmers from 2 nations share their stories. And the tales from these 3 Japanese visitors are especially harrowing.
Yeah, I lost my mother in tsunami, my mother and sister, my nephew and my cousin's son. I think in all about eight people from my relatives.
Mutsuko Ozawa is a survivor. She remains stoic and resilient after enormous personal loss. With her family, she runs one of the largest Wagyu beef farms near Rikuzentakata, one town flattened by the catastrophe 2 months ago.
Right after tsunami, we were so depressed and lost our hope. We thought we could never go forward, continue our cow business.
Her home was lost, but her cattle and farm survived. Now she's getting support and encouragement from her fellow farmers here in Australia.
We are lacking hay because our grass field and rice fields are damaged.
Peter Hoskins hosted the group at his restored 1830s farmhouse near Goulburn.
Yeah, it's nice.
It was a chance to compare 2 different ways of farming and 2 different ways of life. Like their colleague Hiroshi Sano and Shin Yamada, both farm prized Wagyu cattle, but they do it from Fukushima Prefecture. Their farms are inside the nuclear exclusion zone, just 30 kilometres from the power plant. Their cows remain off limits to them, and that's about to get worse as their village is evacuated too. They're not just worried about the well-being of their livestock, they also fear their once pristine reputation for first-class beef will be tainted forever.
The biggest challenge at this stage is the uncertainty. We don't know when we can resume rebuilding the livestock industry. The whole farming cycle has been broken because of the nuclear situation, and we just can't even see when we can start over.
For all 3, the trip abroad is a welcome respite, a break from the endless problems at home. And in Sydney on the weekend, they were buoyed by the generosity of fellow farmers who've launched a support program.
I'm worried now.
Melanie Brock has lived in Japan for 2 decades. It's her job to promote Australian beef. But now, she says, it's time to give something back.
I think that for me, you know, having lived in Japan for such a long time, I see that Japanese are very loyal people, full stop. They appreciate good quality, they appreciate service, they appreciate that commitment. And so I think that it's important that we honour them for that loyalty that they've shown us over the years.
Both countries are now working on an exchange program. A key focus is helping young farmers from tsunami-hit regions.
To hear the stories at the moment is quite empowering. We're looking at things like scholarships and education. We're looking at any sort of training that we can give, helping the young people. There's been a lot of young people that have lost their lives in all of this, and for us it's about really targeting how we can help the beef industry in Japan.
Mutsuko Ozawa, the 55-year-old who's lost so much in the past 8 weeks, has the very same purpose.
To share our story with Australian people, to raise funds, a donation for Japanese people.
And along the way, there's new respect building between old trading partners. Peter Hoskins found there's as much to gain from the special guests as there is to impart.
I hadn't realised quite, how devastated they were on a personal basis when one of them's lost 8 family members, and she was so positive. It was amazing, really. To think that they can't get back to their cattle, and it's just complete devastation for them, isn't it? It's just it's pretty hard for us to comprehend it.
Hayden Cooper reporting.